Roval cold galvanizing compound. Roval's anti-corrosion performance is equivalent to that of hot dip galvanizing. Let me show you a product which can give you the same anti-corrosion performance as hot dip galvanizing. The cold galvanizing compound, Roval. Roval contains 96% pure zinc powder in its dry film. It's easy to use and can be applied directly to steel and galvanized surfaces. As it's pre-packaged in single packs, it doesn't require mixing or the additional use of a primer or top coat. Roval is low maintenance and guarantees a reduction of both maintenance costs as well as construction time. The origin of Roval. Hot dip galvanizing is the process of forming a protective film of zinc by dipping steel structures into molten zinc with a temperature above 460 degrees centigrade. Hot dip galvanizing has high anti-corrosion performance and has been used widely for the prevention of rust on steel. Since this process requires the use of large equipment, it is not practical for small applications such as touch-ups or repairs of damages done by cutting or welding. Conventional paints are not suitable for such repairs because they do not provide strong enough protection. Cambridge doctors started working on solving these problems in the 1940s. They came up with the idea of mixing a large amount of zinc powder with a resin to make a paint-like substance. They found out that a dry film which contains more than 95% zinc provides the same anti-corrosion effect as hot dip galvanizing. Roval was developed based on this concept. Since Roval is simply applied in standard temperatures, it is called cold galvanizing compound. Roval can be used not only for touch-ups of surface cuts and welds, but also for large steel structures and parts that are difficult to be hot dip galvanized. Roval can be applied directly to old or thin galvanized surfaces to prolong the anti-corrosion effect without the need for additional re-galvanization. How to use. Roval is an easy-to-handle, single-pack type compound. It does not require any mixing and has no limitation of pot life. The rest of the paint can be kept in a closed container. Like other conventional paints, it can be applied with a brush or a roller as a conventional or an airless spray. An aerosol version is also available. The most important factor in the application of Roval is to apply it directly to the steel or galvanized surface. Do not use a primer or apply Roval to rusted or painted surfaces. 3 other important factors in the application of Roval are proper surface preparation, adequate agitation, and sufficient film thickness. 1. Proper surface preparation. When applying Roval on galvanized surfaces, use a hand tool to remove white rust. For steel surfaces, remove all the rust and mill scale by sandblasting or using a power tool to expose the clean steel surface. 2. Adequate agitation. Because Roval contains a lot of powdered zinc, the contents may settle at the bottom of the can. Use a paint mixer to obtain uniform viscosity. Rovol's viscosity is pre-adjusted. Do not thin out Rovol. 3. Sufficient film thickness. Anti-corrosion performance is directly proportional to dry film thickness. Do not spread Rovol too thinly. Apply 2 coats of Rovol to obtain a film thickness above 80 micrometers. Make sure the paint is dry to touch before applying a second coat. How does Rovol differ from conventional paints? Conventional paints protect steel by shielding it from water and air, but Rovol's protection is based on an electrochemical reaction. A conventional paint film acts as a surface barrier to water and air. This is called anti-corrosion by barrier protection. But once the film is damaged or has deteriorated, rust develops in that area and begins to spread underneath the film. Rovol protects steel by the mechanism of electrochemical reaction, employing the self-sacrificing property of zinc. Simply put, the zinc rusts before the steel when it comes in contact with it. Although water and air penetrate through the zinc particles to the steel surface, the electrochemical reaction of zinc prevents further development of rust. Even when a Rovol film is damaged, rust will not spread due to the presence of the surrounding zinc particles. Comparison Test 1. Rovol versus other anti-corrosion paints. We conducted an exposure test between Rovol and other anti-corrosion paints in Miyakojima, Japan. After 36 months of exposure, no rust is visible with the use of a Rovol film. Using epoxy paint top-coated with urethane, rust showed up around the crosscut area. Using general anti-corrosion paint top-coated with phthalic acid, rust showed up all over the substrate. Let's take a closer look underneath the paint film. No rust spread from the crosscut area under the Rovol film. In contrast, the epoxy paint shows rust spreading from the crosscut area. The general anti-corrosion paint shows rust developing in an area other than the crosscut. From these results, it is apparent that Rovol protects steel surfaces from the spread of rust, whereas other paints allowed it to spread widely. As you can see, Rovol alone can guarantee long-term maintenance-free performance without the need for a primer or top coat in an easy application format. Comparison Test 2. Rovol versus hot dip galvanizing. We also conducted a salt spray test, a cyclic corrosion test, and a cast test to compare Rovol with hot dip galvanizing. From these pictures, you can clearly see that Rovo has as equal an anti-corrosion performance as hot-dip galvanizing. Rovo's excellent performance was recognized and certified by the Council for Construction Technology in Japan. We are surrounded by many steel structures, such as roads, railroads, bridges, buildings, and towers. Rust is their biggest enemy. Every year, rust causes a lot of damage to our economy and jeopardizes the safety and beauty of our lives. Rovo can help solve these problems and assure the sustainability of steel resources.